Hello, Tungsten Miner here. As you can see, I have leveled up all the way around this one wall here, and I am standing now on a completely finished second room. So last time I had shown off the house, I was showing this staircase and how I'd gotten it up to this floor, but none of that existed. And the whole idea here, of course, is that I want to continue on up to the first floor and figure out some design questions while I've got this room here. So for example, these joists are much too long according to the plan I've set for myself. If you recall, down below here, I put in a support beam to support them going the opposite direction. Oh, which now that I think about it, I should probably do up there as well. So put in a support beam to go the opposite direction, and then put in these beams here to support that. So give myself a little bit more realistic sort of engineering here. So what I'm probably going to do here is maybe reorient all of these, but I don't fancy doing that. And maybe instead put support beams going across here and just say that that's a span I think is reasonable, and maybe have 2 or 3 of those support beams that go across. And that will take up most of this meter here. And that will make my ceiling 1 meter tall when you consider all of the supports and joists and everything else. And then on that, I would need to think of a design for what the ceiling is going to wind up looking like. So do I want to have a recessed ceiling, or do I want to have a plain kind of popcorn style ceiling, or what? I've also got these doors finished put together following the same pattern here, going around that way. And I figured out a design for doors to get them so that the doors, the regular Minecraft doors, sit in their places as they want to do, but at the same time the wall intersects with them in a reasonable way. So let me do this. So if we look down from the top here, we can see I really just took the whole thing over, putting in some studs and then centering around the door. And the door is 3 bits wide, so I made this 7 bits wide and give myself a little bit of extra room on both sides. So in the end, I wind up with something that looks pretty decently reasonable. And this is a feature you might even see in a real house where the doors are recessed a little bit. And then you come over to here, and the doors are now extruded into the wall, which I don't like as well. So one thing I'm considering is extending this wall out a bit so that it lines up with this door. And the door looks like these doors would if I could get a door to be centered in there. And that way, this wall is just a bit thicker, and these doors are placed there. And then for these, they're framed as though to be doors right now, but I'm thinking I might actually just make them 1 meter wider, or maybe not a full meter wider, maybe another half a meter wider, and make them as just kind of an archway. As recall, this is what I wanted to use for my main crafting room, and I wanted to use those rooms on either side for tools and storage. So perhaps that's a more sensible way, is to have these 4 arches going into these other rooms. I have also gotten the ends of these guys straightened out so that I've got a full finished rounded edge there, or at least octagonal edge. And I've pulled the same steps that I used over in the gardening area and moved them around to both of the other openings that I need to use. Come take a look at those. So these kind of steps here. And I think that's it for the new stuff in the house. Just look around, make sure I didn't forget anything. Nope, nothing else that is new. So all the stuff that's down in the basement now, eventually will need to come back upstairs, and probably eventually is going to be sooner than later. Maybe not even wait for the full roof, as I didn't wait to have a ceiling on here before I moved everything over. Down here I want to keep the joists and everything visible, but I think upstairs what I'll wind up doing is covering them in and making it look more like a house. So first and foremost, this kitchen stuff is going to go into the room that's above over there. Looks like I lost a little bit of wood there. And then this thing, I had kept forgetting that in the newest version of Tinker's Construct, you can make these in any shape you want. I think 2 by 2 is the smallest. And so what I think I'll do is wind up making this extend along the length of the wall back there and fitting it behind these spruce plank beams so that I don't have this situation here where everything's kind of crammed in there in a funny way. And then over here, not much else has changed. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it for now. Anyway, so I'm going to carry on next time by extending this all the way up to match with this. Think about some windows in here. Think about doorways and arches and whether this comes out or goes in. Figuring out exactly what kind of ceiling I want in here and how that's going to intersect with the wall. So we'll see what comes up of that next time. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit like. If you want to see that next video is ready, hit subscribe, and I will talk to you later.